Let's get started in a comfortable seat, like always. To start with some stretching and some opening for the upper body. So just roll your shoulders all the way up and back, and then all the way up and forward. Just, you don't have to follow a pattern or follow me per se here. You're just kind of like noticing what you're feeling in the base of the neck and the shoulders. And then roll the head from side to side and all the way around. As you're doing these rolls of the shoulder, you're going to feel the stretch in certain parts and maybe stay in those sides a little bit longer. And then we're going to take the hands behind us. You're going to interlace the fingers, and then as you press the knuckles down the back, you're going to take them to your right side and have them here on your right side. So basically you are pulling your left elbow to your side, and you have your interlaced fingers on your right side. And then you're gonna drop the head over to the right side. So you're basically stretching this left part of the neck as you're pulling that left shoulder down. So keep the interlaced hands as they are. Drop away as much as you can. Allow gravity here to pull that head down towards the right. And then turn the chin towards the floor. Look down as if you're looking towards your armpit, towards the back of your arm. And then try to drop towards the center. And then you can come all the way around towards that left shoulder and all the way around into that circle. Excellent. You're going to keep the hands interlaced. I'm going to take them over to the left side. Keep them interlaced as they are. So you see my right shoulder has dropped here, and then drop the head over to the left side. This side might feel more open. This side might feel a little bit more tense. Just depending on how you feel, turn the head to face down or stay with the stretch a little bit longer. And then come all the way back around. And again, just notice those little cracks at the base of the neck, wherever they may be, whether in the back or in the front or in the sides. And notice where you can release some of that pressure, some of that tension. And then release the hands and shake them off. I'm going to take the two fingers here, index finger and middle finger, and right into our jawline, right in between upper jaw and lower jaw. And we're going to begin to create circular movements here in our jaw. And if you want to find that muscle that I'm trying to massage here and pinpoint it down, you want to open and close the bottom of your mouth. And that muscle that's moving underneath your fingertips, that's the muscle that you want to pinpoint down or create circular movements around. That's the muscle that you're going to feel tension underneath your fingertips. And you want to release as much as possible. So really press it down, maybe create movements up and down to kind of stretch it out a little bit. Maybe circular movements to release. This is the muscle that we tend to grip our teeth with when we're holding tension. This is the muscle that is connected supposedly to the lower part of the body. If we're tensing up through the jaw, we're tensing up through our pelvic floor muscles, our cervix, our hips. So you want to relax the jaw muscle as much as possible. And this is what this is. So creating that release as much as you can. Don't forget that this muscle is also connected to the neck, the shoulders. A lot of times if somebody's pressing you here, you might feel it up here if you're holding tension in your jaw. And then let's begin to trace our fingertips up towards the forehead or down towards the neck. So depending on where you're feeling tension, if you're having tension headaches or any sinus headaches, you can just press here and brush your eyebrows away, but press firmly into that part and see if you can release some of the tension. And then you can trace your fingertips all the way down, back and through the jaw. Maybe come a little closer to the ear this time. I'm coming a little further back. That's where I tend to hold my tension. And then we can come to the neck. And the neck, the sides of the neck is really important to be massaged. So you want to, again, press in, up and down, forward and back. Don't come too forward so that you're not pressing into any veins here, but you're just coming right to the side where only muscles are located. So you're going to feel the tension underneath your fingertips, or you're going to feel radiating tension in somewhere else, especially if you're holding some tightness there. And then we're going to come into our shoulders and pedal our elbows as we're massaging our shoulders. And then I want you to end up with the right hand on the left shoulder, squeeze and release, squeeze and release. You might feel, again, some discomfort radiating somewhere else, some other parts of the shoulder. And then let's take the left hand to the right shoulder, squeeze and release that meaty part of the shoulder between shoulder joint and neck. Excellent. You should feel a little bit more spacious in the upper body and the upper neck here. So let's roll the shoulders right on top of the hips and close the eyes. We're just going to begin with a few deep breaths here before we come into our practice. So inhale in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Noticing how this breath feels, how your body feels, and taking a moment to just kind of calm the mind down. Inhale in through the nose and exhale through the mouth with a sigh. Whether that sigh is audible or inaudible, let it go completely. And allow, as you're sighing it out, allow the mouth to stay slightly open and allow the tongue to float in between the teeth. Let go of any tension in the back of the jaw, those muscles that we just massaged, that we just released and softened. Let go of any tension in the shoulders. Try not to hold your shoulders all the way up. Relax them down as if gravity is pulling them down. With each exhale, notice where you can let go a little bit further. Maybe in the hips, maybe in the sit bones, maybe in the inner thighs or the ankles. And remember the connection between muscles. I mentioned earlier that there's a connection between jaw tightness and cervix tightness, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those two are the ones that communicate with one another and that's it. What that means is whenever we feel tension, whenever we are in discomfort, whenever we are in pain, we tend to grip our palms, grip our fists, or grip our teeth together, hold back, and tense up through the upper body. And as we're gripping through the upper body, that happens to the lower body as well. Without even noticing, we're gripping our feet together and onto the floor. We are tensing up through our pelvic floor muscles, cervix, hips. And that's something that we need to train our body to not do during those contractions, during that discomfort of labor. So practice the mantra, letting go. As easy as it's to say and hard to do, keep practicing, keep repeating it to yourself to soften. So with your next inhale, let's take the palms together in front of the heart. Press the thumbs right into the center of the chest, into the sternum, and lift the sternum up. So sitting a little taller. And set an intention for your practice today. Your intention is that mantra, that word, that sentence that keeps you strong. And maybe that today is to let go, to remind yourself to let go, to soften. Perhaps it's something else completely different that gets you ready for contractions, for labor, for the journey into motherhood. Perhaps it's something completely different, not related to your practice today. Whatever it may be, it's your intention. Take a deep breath in and let it out through the mouth. Sigh it out. And then slowly let's begin to release the hands. You can allow the eyes to open. Keep sitting on your seat here. I'm going to open up the feet and bring the soles of the feet together, knees apart. Grab hold of the knees, and we're going to begin with a few circles of the hips. So you're going to bring the torso all the way around. You might feel this in the edges of the pelvis here, on the sides of the pelvis, but you're basically wanting to create more mobility here, more flexibility in the pelvis. So notice as you're sitting on the edge of a blanket, notice how your pelvis is shifting off of the blanket as you're moving forward and back onto the blanket as it is moving backwards. And then we're going to reverse the circles over to the opposite side. So imagine you want to send your shoulders, you want to send your forehead in every which direction in this room. Really press away. If you find this spot, if you find a tension spot, see if you can spend a little extra time there. Maybe it's a little corner in the glutes, maybe it's a little corner in the lower back, and then we're going to settle back into the center. If you remember, cross the opposite leg that you had in the front before, cross now the opposite leg. So we're evening out for the hips. Reach the hands up towards the sky, and as you exhale, let's take a side bend, creating more space in the side of the belly here. So keep pressing your sit bones into the ground. Relax your shoulder here and keep reaching up and over. Lengthen. Inhale, and as you exhale, over to the opposite side. We're going to do 2 more on each side. So you follow your own breath, you follow your own pace. Notice where you're feeling the tension, and if there's one side that you're feeling it more, you can stay on that tighter side a little longer just to create a little extra space. But keep pressing the sit bones into the ground. I'm doing my second one, and I'm about to start my third one after I finish this. You just want to stretch it out through the obliques, the sides of the belly, creating more space for the baby to grow, if they can only grow so much. But to move around too, it's important that they move around. And you're also creating more space for you to be able to breathe deeper, right? In between the ribs. Excellent. Let's come back to center, reach the hands all the way up. And now let's take a slight twist over to the right. So you're bringing your right fingertips behind you, lengthen through the spine, exhale to slightly twist. Reach the hands all the way back up towards the sky, and as you exhale, twist over to the opposite side. Not too deep here, just trying to find that mobility and flexibility in the spine. Reach the hands up, and then let's release all the way down. We're going to find that shoulder stretch. Since we all talked about upper back today, most of us, not everybody, but we're going to unwind the feet, keep the feet grounded, and open them up a little bit more, just so you create space for the belly here. Maybe not mat distance apart, but not hip distance apart either. And release the hands behind you. As you inhale, prepare, and then as you exhale, you're going to begin to lift the hips up towards the sky. And you're rolling your shoulders right on top of your wrists here and look up so the neck is nice and long. Inhale at the top, exhale to press up a little more, and then slowly come on back and begin to release. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together once again. Grab hold of your ankles and then press your elbows into your knees slightly as you're shifting your chest forward. So you're finding length here, a little extra stretch in the lower back and the glutes. Take a deep breath in, let it out. And then slowly let's begin to release back. We're going to come for 2 more of these tabletop positions. You're going to plant the feet to the ground. Inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, begin to lift the hips up. I recommend that you look up so the neck is nice and long. Inhale, exhale to press up, engage through your glutes, engage through your inner thighs here, finding a little strength in the back of the legs, and then slowly come on back down. Bring the soles of the feet together, grab hold of your ankles, see if you can press forward, and see if you can release some of that sacrum press and SI joint. Deep breath in, let it out. Last one, let's begin to press the feet into the ground. Let the hands behind you, inhale, and as you exhale, lift the hips up as far as you can. Look up so the neck is nice and long. Inhale at the top, and as you exhale, squeeze those glutes together and inner thighs together, pressing up a little more. and then slowly, slowly come on down. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and press the chest forward one more time. This should feel a little easier, maybe less tension through the inner thighs. Notice if you're feeling it any better here. Excellent. And then let's come back up. You're going to bring the knees together, shift over to one side. Feel free to bring a blanket underneath your kneecaps, especially if you're hardwood floor, if you like to cushion your kneecaps here. And as you're coming into all fours, begin to take some organic movements of the spine, whatever feels comfortable to you, to maybe tune in with the body. Maybe shifting the hips from side to side. Maybe shifting the hips all the way around. If you're feeling any tension or retaining fluids in your feet are feeling swollen, maybe curl the toes and press the hips back, stretching out through the feet a little bit. If you're feeling any carpal tunnel issues, turn the fingertips to face you and shift the hips back. You're going to feel this stretch in your forearms. You can do this stretch on the opposite side too. The top of the hand presses onto the floor and you're reaching back. So just be mindful where you're feeling the tension. You can begin to release. For those bigger bellies, if you're still feeling any hip flexor tension in that part, the lower part of the belly right underneath here, if it's getting a little tight, ease into a lazy up dog. Not super tense here, not super aggressive. You're just easing into it from side to side as you're pressing your chest forward, not up. And then pressing back into child's pose, back into table. Excellent. And I'll meet you back in table. Roll the shoulders right on top of the wrists. Maybe walk the knees a little closer. Feel spacious here with the belly. We're going to take the right knee off to the side and create wide circles with that right knee. Let's do 3 on one side and then reverse the circles over to the opposite side. You might hear some cracks in the inner thighs or the hips. That's just breaking up adhesions as you go. And then we're going to take that left knee off the ground, create 3 circles on one side, wide circles, and then reverse the circles over to the opposite side. And then we'll come back into table, back into all fours. Now, as you inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze, look up. And as you exhale around the spine, press the back of the spine all the way up. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze, look up. Exhale to round as much as you can. Deep breath in to drop the belly, lift the heart. Exhale to round. As you inhale, come back into your table. You're going to take the right foot back behind you. Lift the foot off of the mat. All 5 toes are pointing towards the ground. Imagine you want to press the foot towards the wall behind you. Press the floor away with both shoulders so you're not collapsing here. And then take the left hand out in front of you. Reach away, lengthen 2 different directions. And as you exhale, release the hand and the knee to the floor. We're going to do that 4 more times. So as you inhale, reach away, right foot back, left hand away. Exhale to release, hand and knee to the floor. Deep breath in to reach away. Exhale to release. Deep breath in. Exhale, release. Inhale to reach away. Now you have an option to stay here or bend the back knee, grab hold of the foot, and press the foot into the hand away from your sit bones. Lift that right knee off of the mat a little bit more, and then slowly let's begin to release. Let's open up the knees mat distance apart, shift the hips back. You can always come down to your forearms as you shift down into your child's pose. You can always bring a block underneath the forehead to make child's pose a little bit more comfortable, or even a pillow underneath your chest. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. Inhale, let it out. Deep breath in. Exhale. As you inhale, begin to reach the fingertips towards the top of the mat. Plant the palms, spread the fingertips wide, curl the toes, and let's begin to lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's stretch out our calves here a little bit and stretch out the back of the knees. So pedal the feet a little dramatically as you're shifting from side to side, the hips from side to side. Bend into the right knee as you press your left heel into the floor. Feel that sensation all the way from your sit bone all the way down to the heel. Breathe into it, and then bend into the left knee, press the right heel into the floor. Notice any difference here. Keep pedaling slowly, mindfully with your breath, and then finding stillness as you press both heels into the floor and pressing your chest back, up and back. Relax the head, relax the neck. Inhale to shift forward into your plank. And as you exhale, drop your right knee right below your right hip. So walk it forward a little bit so that you're stabilized. So try not to make sure that your right knee is right below your right hip. Not too far back, not too far forward. Right shoulder is right on top of the right wrist. And then we're going to open up into side plank. So you're planting your left hip on top of right, reaching your left fingertips up towards the sky. Now, ladies, if you feel stable enough here, lift that left foot off the ground. Flex the foot, energizing that left leg. And if you want to take it a step further, bend that left knee, grab hold of the foot, and press the foot behind you, away from your sit bone. Keep pressing the floor away to find stability here and balance. And then slowly let's begin to unwind and coming back into all fours. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze, look up. And as you exhale, round the spine. As you're coming back into all fours, grab books or blocks, whatever you have for more stability. I'm going to face you as I do this. You're going to take your right foot through. Even though I'm taking my left, I'm mirroring you. So you're going to take your right foot through, making sure that you take your hands to your hips, draw that right hip down so your hips are even here, and then begin to straighten out that right leg. And flex the foot, point the toes up towards the sky. Inhale to lengthen, and as you exhale, press the chest forward as you're lengthening through the spine here. Feeling that stretch in the back of the knee again, in the calf, and in the hamstring. Now, a little pelvic tilts here, just like we did earlier, but a little more obvious this time. As you inhale, you're tucking your tailbone in, tucking the chin into the chest, rounding through the spine. And as you exhale, stick your tailbone out and back and press your chest forward. Lengthen. There's a stretch in the back of the leg. Inhale to round, round, round as much as you can. Exhale to press forward and lengthen. Breathe it out so you're letting go of that tension. Inhale to tuck in and round. Exhale to let it go. Very nice. Let's begin to bend into that front knee, slide the foot closer to you so you're in a low lunge. So front knee is right on top of the front ankle here. Reach the hands all the way up towards the sky. Grab hold of your left wrist and take a side bend over to the right. Relax the shoulders. Try not to let them creep up to the ears. Lengthen. Exhale to side bend a little deeper. Come back to center. Release the hands to a T, and let's take a twist over to the left. So you're taking your right hand forward, left hand back. Lengthen. And exhale to twist a little bit more, but keep that right knee where it is. Try not to let it slide towards the middle, towards the midline. Come back into center. You're going to bring those blocks to the inside of that right foot, and you're bringing your right foot straight out to the side. Excellent. Bring one block or one book over to the left side. Take a side bend over towards the block here. Come back into center. And as you exhale towards the straight leg, you might feel this one a little bit more towards the straight leg. Now let's come back into center. Drop the hands to the floor and then begin to bend into that right knee and walk the hands over to the right side. So side lunge here. Feel free to pulsate from side to side here. Feel free to just feel the stretch or even create pelvic tilts or circles. But you want to press the chest towards that corner that you're facing, lengthening the spine and not rounding through the upper back. So notice if you're feeling this in your hip flexor or your inner thighs. Let's take one more deep breath in. Exhale. And then slowly coming back into center and bringing the knees back in. Excellent. Before we come over to the opposite side and do all of that, we're going to start with one discomfort pose here. So we're going to curl the toes under and shift the hips back and roll the shoulders right on top of the hips. So we're feeling this in our toes, we're feeling this in the bottom of our feet. And if you'd like to take it a step further with me today, let's take the arms as well. Yes, the arms are feeling tension today, like we said, but they're also becoming weaker and weaker since we're not able to lift any weights or anything. So we need to make sure our arm strengthening remains as is and consistent. So create circles with your arms if you're with me, but try at the same time to relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, relax the rest of the body wherever is tensing up. We're holding this for a minute. That's the average time of a contraction. So remember, we're doing this on purpose to cause discomfort in the body, to cause discomfort in the mind, in the breath, but to bring the attention back to the breath and not to the tension that we're feeling. Relax the shoulders a little bit more, maybe reverse the circles of the arms. Maybe that will provide a little distraction here. 2 deep breaths, inhale, side out, deep breath in, side out, excellent. And then slowly let's begin to release. Let's uncurl the toes and tap the tops of the feet on the floor to counteract that movement that we created in the feet. Excellent. As you're back into all fours, take a deep breath in, drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze, look up. Exhale to round the spine, press the back of the spine all the way up. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze, look up. Exhale to round. Continue with your own breath, not dropping the belly super much so that you don't pull any round ligaments here, but as you're rounding, round, and stretch that mid part of the back that we were talking about earlier. Really press your shoulder blades all the way up towards the sky as you're releasing your head all the way down. And then slowly let's come back into table. We're going to take the left foot back behind us, lift the foot off of the mat. All 5 toes are pointing towards the ground. And then as you press the floor away with both hands, you're taking the right hand out in front of you. Reach away, lengthen, and as you exhale, release the hand and the knee to the floor. 4 more. Inhale to reach away, lengthen. Exhale to release. Inhale, reach away, lengthen. Exhale to release. Deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale to reach away, lengthen, stay there, or begin to bend the back knee, grab hold of the foot, and press the foot into the hand away from your sit bones. Can you lift that left knee up off the floor a little bit more? And then slowly let's begin to release. Let's open up the knees, mat distance apart, shift the hips back, release into your child's pose. Of course, use props if you need to in child's pose. It's always more comfortable, especially if the belly is big and you're not able to go all the way down. 2 more deep breaths. Let it out through the mouth. Inhale. Let it out with a sigh. Let's begin to reach the fingertips towards the top of the mat. Plant the palms, spread the fingertips wide, curl the toes, and let's begin to lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Once again, you can open up the feet mat distance apart to create more space for the belly. You can continue to pedal the feet here or find stillness if you need to. Keep pressing your chest towards the thighs. Relax the head, relax the neck. Deep breath in. Exhale. Last one. Deep breath in. Press those heels into the floor as you lift the sit bones all the way up. Inhale to shift forward into your plank. And as you exhale, you drop your left knee to the ground right below your left hip. So see if you can adjust accordingly before you open up into your side plank. And when you're ready, open up, rolling right shoulder on top of left, right hip on top of left. Reach the right fingertips up towards the sky. You can stay here or begin to lift the right foot off of the mat. And if you took it a step further with me earlier, begin to bend that right knee, grab hold of the foot and press it back away from your sit bones. Lengthen. Remember, these are hip flexor stretches, not back bends. And then slowly let's begin to release. Let's come back into all fours, back into table. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the heart, just to kind of readjust the spine. Exhale to rock. Let's come back into table, grab those blocks. I'm going to be facing you once again. As you grab your props, you're going to take the left foot through. Before you go anywhere, grab your hips and draw that hip down so your hips are even here, and then begin to straighten out that left leg. Flex the foot, point the toes up towards the sky, lengthen through the spine, and then press the chest forward towards your toes. You're going to feel this in the back of that right or left knee rather. As you inhale, tuck the tailbone in and round, round, round as much as you're able to. As you exhale, press the tailbone out and back, press the chest forward, lengthen through the spine. Inhale to tuck in. Exhale to press away and lengthen. Whatever tension you're feeling in the back of that left knee, let it out with your breath, sides out. Exhale to press forward, lengthen through the spine and the upper back. Now let's begin to bend into the front knee, plant the foot right, or the ankle rather, right underneath that left knee. Reach the hands all the way up towards the sky. Grab hold of your right wrist, take a side bend over to the left. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to side bend a little deeper. Come back to center, release the hands to a T. And let's take our twist over to the right. So left hand forward, right hand back. Deep breath in, let it out, and twist a little bit more. Open twist here, really good for the side of the belly and the obliques. Let's bring it back into center. You can bring one block over to the right side as you extend that left leg out. Place the right hand on your block and take the left hand up and over. Come back into center, inhale. And towards a straight leg, see if you can stretch out through that right side body as much as you can, as if you're reaching for those left toes. And then coming back into center, drop the hands to the floor. Turn your toes away as you're bending into that left knee and walking the hands over to the left side. So side lunge here, again, maybe finding a little movement, maybe not, maybe just staying with the stretch. Whatever movement feels good for you. This is a good pose to have contractions in, especially if you got a routine going on. Maybe one contraction is on one side with a little movement to occupy mind and body. The next contraction will be on the opposite side, on the opposite leg. You can also do this standing with one foot on a chair or in a couch. So imagine Captain Morgan, and you can also do this with the ball. So imagine the ball is right here on my chest, and I'm allowing the ball to kind of take me and rock me from side to side as I'm rocking. So there's lots of options, lots of ways. Let's come back into center, and let's find another relaxation pose in child's pose as you open up your knees once again and shift the hips back. 3 full breaths this time. Inhale into the nose, let it out through the mouth, sigh it out completely. Deep breath in, let it out. One more, inhale, exhale. Excellent. Now as you inhale, begin to walk the hands towards you. We're gonna come in for our second discomfort pose. This time it's a squat. And I got at least 3 ladies that I know of that are above 35 weeks and babies facing down. So all the rest of us will come to this kind of squat. 90-degree angle for the knees and bringing the forearms to the thighs. For the 3 ladies, please come to a lower squat right here. So you're coming in for gravity, right? And for the rest of us, let's come up. We're coming in for discomfort, but also strengthening at the same time. So we're not quite there yet for gravity just yet. We don't know if baby is facing down, and that's why we're not coming into those deep squats. But as you're coming into this uncomfortable squat with me, 90-degree angle, let's find a little movement. Let's find a little distraction, right? Let's shift from side to side. Relax the shoulders, relax the head, roll the wrists, wiggle the fingertips. Maybe allow your jaw, the bottom part of your jaw, to create circles, so you're relaxing your jaw as well. And that movement that you're creating is not just a distraction, but it's a soothing mechanism. You're not focusing so much on the tension, but you're giving your body something else to do. Notice how your breath is feeling. Can you focus on those exhales and sigh it out? Yes, you're feeling the tension in your thighs, but notice that you're also strengthening your thighs here by holding the squat for this long. We're doing 2 more deep breaths. Inhale. Let it out. Deep breath in, sit a little lower. And then let's come all the way up. Let's grab our thighs and shake it off. Not only are you relaxing your pelvic floor muscles, but also those quads and those hips as you're doing this. Excellent. And before we start with our standing flow, let's find a relaxation pose. So after each discomfort pose, after each contraction, it's always important to find a pose that re-energizes the body, the mind, and the breath. So we're going to start with calf stretches, but if you've been with me for a while and you have other poses in mind that you need, please feel free and start with those. So I'm going to grab my blanket and I'm going to roll it up and make it into a tight roll and thick. I'm going to place it away from a surface or a wall. I'm going to bring the balls of the feet on the blanket, heels off the blanket, and then I'm going to reach for that surface or that wall. As I tilt my tailbone back, straightening out my legs and pressing my chest forward and down. So coming into an L shape here. Excellent. You should feel this in the back of the knees and the hamstrings. You're creating more space for the pelvis here, more flexibility as you're stretching out as much as possible. You hug the baby a little closer to you so you're not feeling this so much in the lower back. There you go. Excellent. So I don't want you to press the belly down. I want you to press your chest down, ladies, as much as you can, even though it's very tempting to just press the belly all the way down. Excellent. And then slowly as you're coming up, you can begin to release that blanket off to the side. And actually, let's find a second relaxation pose, especially because we talked about shoulders and upper back. I don't have the space here around me, but imagine this is my wall here. So I'm coming with my arm right parallel to the wall, and then I'm placing my left hand on the wall and I'm pressing away. So I'm going to feel this in my pec major area, and I'm going to feel this right in my armpit. Excellent. Now, if you want to take this a little step further, take your hand diagonally towards the upper corner of the room. So just not facing all the way up towards the sky, but towards the upper corner of the room. And then see if you can press away from the wall a little bit more. You're going to feel that more on underneath your armpit. And that's where the lactation ducts are. So if you're feeling any tension in the mid upper back section, doing these 2 stretches daily will relieve some of that pain, will relieve some of that tension, will give you a little extra space. Of course, do it on the opposite side whenever you're ready. Unfortunately, after birth, that upper back and mid back pain doesn't get any better for obvious reasons, because you're lactating, you're breastfeeding, you're holding baby, you're changing diapers, you're constantly rounding and hovering over baby. So it doesn't get any better. So you want to create those stretches to just open up through the chest and push the shoulders back so you have that space in the mid back and upper back. And to make sure you're hydrating as you're coming up and away from those poses. Excellent, ladies. We'll meet back at the front of the mat. Make sure you have props with you if you need your blocks or books. We're gonna take the feet parallel to each other. Not necessarily hip distance apart, but just a little wider to have a little wider stance, more balance. Roll the shoulders over the hips. Reach the hands all the way up towards the sky. One more side bend here. Grab hold of your left wrist and side bend over to the right. Really stretching through the side body, creating more space for you in general and for the baby. Come back into center, grab hold of the right wrist and take a side bend over to the left. Come back into center. Reach the fingertips up towards the sky, and as you exhale, trace your midline. Come all the way down to your blocks. Inhale, halfway up, long spine, finding that L shape once again. So bring your torso parallel to the floor here. And as you're grabbing your blocks here, keeping your right foot forward and taking your left foot back, stepping back into your lunge. Bring your blocks to the inside of that right foot so you're not really reaching forward and you're having space for the belly here. Rock forward and back, just a tiny bit here. Not too aggressively. Again, we don't want to pull any round ligaments. We want to create more space in the hip flexor. And then slowly begin to pivot the back foot into 45-degree angle. Keep bending into the front knee and lift all the way up into your warrior one. So you're rolling your shoulders right on top of your hips. Back heel is grounded and you're energizing the back leg. As you're energizing both legs here, you're feeling that activation of the inner thighs, and that strengthens the pelvic floor muscles. Deep breath in, let it out, sink a little lower into that front knee. Now as you inhale, straighten the front leg and reach the hands up. And as you exhale, pull the arms down into cactus arms and bend the front knee. Inhale to reach up, lengthen both arms and legs. Exhale to pull down. Deep breath in. Let it out, pull down. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. Last one. Exhale, pull down. Stay there. Take the hands behind your back, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together and press the knuckles down the back leg. And then see if you can add some stretches of the neck, just like we usually do in the beginning of our practice. Stretching out the neck here, rolling the head from side to side. Release the hands to the hips, straighten out the front leg, pivot the back foot in a little bit to close your stance, and then maybe you open up the feet a little wider to have more space for belly when you're coming halfway down. Inhale to lengthen, and as you exhale, come halfway, pressing the chest forward, and then releasing the hands to your blocks. Ideally 2 blocks, or if you don't have blocks, maybe books or something that you can release your hands on. Not the floor, so that you're not hovering and rounding your upper back. So you want to shift the right hip back, the left hip down, tilt the tailbone towards the back of the room and press your chest forward. Again, you're going to feel this in the back of the right knee. Breathe. Let it out. Notice if you're holding in and tensing up. Can you relax the back of the mouth, soften the tongue. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Very nice. Let's begin to bend into the front knee. Maybe toe heel that foot a little closer to the center of the mat to feel more stable. Come all the way up into your short warrior one. And then let's open up into warrior 2, bringing the back foot even further back to lengthen your stance. Straighten the front leg, shift the hips towards the back. Reach forward as much as you can with that right hand. And then bring that right hand on the block in the inside of the right foot as you open up for triangle. So you want to feel this stretch in the side of the belly and even a little bit of the front of the belly. Notice if you can press your chest towards the wall you're facing and then turn the torso a little bit more towards that wall. If you want to take a shoulder stretch with me here, internally rotate that left arm and bring the left fingertips to your right hip crease or all the way back into your sacrum. So you're rolling that left shoulder on top of right. One more deep breath in. Exhale. Slowly, let's begin to bend into the front knee, unwind the arm, come all the way back up, warrior 2. You release the hands to your hips, bring the feet parallel to each other as you're facing the long edge of your mat. If SI joint is feeling a little tense or your lower back is feeling tense, bring the toes in, heels out, internally rotating your hips. Inhale, lengthen. And as you exhale halfway or all the way down, releasing the hands to blocks or all the way down to the floor, your choice. Just depending on how you feel. If you feel acid reflux here or nauseous or dizzy at all, try not to come all the way down, stay halfway up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold a little bit more, just depending on how you feel. Deep breath in to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Deep breath in. Exhale to fold. And as you're coming up back halfway, we're going to begin with our windmills. So you're going to plant your right hand right in front of you on the floor. Inhale, and as you exhale, take the left hand all the way up towards the sky. Deep breath in to release the left hand to the floor. Right hand comes all the way up towards the sky. Continue that for 2 more times on each side. At your own pace, if you are enjoying the twist, stay with it for a little bit longer. And if it's too much, try not to go all the way up. You don't have to look up either. You can look towards the side. You can still look down if that feels more comfortable for the neck. But this is good to stabilize the sacrum and also create flexibility and mobility in your spine. Excellent. I'll meet you back in the center. Toe heel the feet back in. We're going to come in for our third discomfort pose, another squat, a little bit more difficult this time. We're going to come with our feet closer together, outer hip distance apart. Bend the knees, stick your bum out, and reach the hands up towards the sky. So coming into your chair pose. Let's begin to shift from side to side a little bit. I know you're feeling it. I'm with you. So stay strong through it. Relax the shoulders. Relax the back of the mouth. Rock from side to side as you're calming the body, mind, and breath down. Notice if you can separate the hip movement from the shoulders and from the lower body. So you're creating even more flexibility and mobility in the hips. And as I do that, I feel more relaxation in my pelvic floor muscles. So maybe you feel it too. Roll your wrists. Try to pick up the feet off of the mat so that you're not gripping. Roll the head from side to side or create circles with the head so that you're relaxing the shoulders, those muscles that we were massaging in the beginning. Focus on your exhales. Let it go. Try not to stay still and freeze up. Instead, create movement and relaxation. One more deep breath in. Sit a little lower, ladies. Let's come all the way back up. You can grab your thighs once again, shake them off. And then let's find that relaxation pose. So last time we did the L shape. You can feel free to repeat that if that feels good for the lower back, hamstrings, or calves. Again, using that blanket or that towel rolled up underneath your feet will also give you a little bit more of a calf stretch. The next relaxation pose for lower body is a hip stretch, or it's good for sciatica or tight hips. So grab the wall or a surface that you can steady yourself with. Externally rotate your right knee, bringing your right ankle on top of the left knee. And then as you're bending your left knee, stick your bum out and back and press your chest forward. One thing that I notice here in class is that sometimes we may hold that surface and then shift the weight back into the left heel, but try to see if you can try not to do that, avoid doing that. Instead, just have the weight fully on your left foot, and then instead press your bum back, press your chest forward. Keep bending into that left knee, the bottom knee, and keep tilting your tailbone back. Excellent. One side is always tighter than the other, so see which side that is for you, and see if you can come into the tighter side and stay a little longer. creating that stretch and that extra space on that side. Excellent, ladies. When you're finishing up, another relaxation pose for the upper body is to plant the hand onto the wall. Right side, I'm doing my right side. So press the wall away so you're arm length distance apart from the wall. Keep your shoulders right on top of your hips. The outer foot comes behind you. Bend both knees and press the hips away even more. And then take the outer hand up and over, reaching for the wall. So you're coming in a little bit as a curtsy here. And then you're pressing the hips away as you're reaching with your fingertips towards the wall. And that's creating a deep stretch, side bend stretch into the IT band where it attaches in the side of the hips and the side of the torso, all the way even into the arm, the outside of the arm. Do it on both sides. Notice which side needs a little bit more attention, perhaps. One side is a little more tighter than the other. And then, of course, please hydrate if you need to. We're going to come back onto our mats. Using those props again at the top of the mat, whatever that may be for you. Bring your feet parallel to each other, a little further than hip distance apart. Reach the hands all the way up towards the sky. Let's bend the left elbow, grab the left elbow, a little different type of side bend. Grab the left elbow with your right hand and take your side bend over to the right. Try not to round through the upper back just because you're doing this elbow stretch here. Inhale back into center. Grab the right elbow with your left hand and take your side bend over to the left. Inhale back into center. Reach the hands all the way up towards the sky. And as you exhale, trace your midline right back down, forward fold into your blocks. Lengthen coming halfway up. And then begin to shift the weight over to your left foot as you're stepping your right foot back. And keep your hands on your blocks and step them back right into the inside of that left foot. And just gently walk forward and back here. Just stretching out that right hip flexor, not necessarily coming into a deep lunge here. Keep pressing the chest forward. And then the next time you're pressing forward, we're going to pivot the back foot up and into a 45-degree angle. Keep bending into the front knee and then lift all the way up into your warrior one. Keep bending into the front knee right on top of the front ankle. Hips are not necessarily facing forward, shoulders are facing forward. So you're still feeling that twist in the torso. And then you're energizing that back leg. So keep pressing the back thigh towards the back wall. Reach up and straighten through the front leg. Exhale to pull down and bend into the front knee. Imagine as you're pulling down with me and during these, that you're pulling down a bunch of weights. So continue for 3 more. Inhale. Really energize through the arms. Show those biceps. Deep breath in. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Stay there. Take the hands behind your back. Interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Press the knuckles down the back leg. And add a few stretches of the neck once again. Let's begin to release the hand interlace. Take the hands to the hips. Straighten the front leg and maybe pivot the back foot in a little bit to close your stance. Both shoulders and hips are facing forward this time. Lengthen. And as you exhale, come halfway down and release the hands to your blocks right underneath your shoulders so that you're not having to reach for the floor, not having to round your upper back. Slightly press your left hip back, your right hip down. Tilt the tailbone towards the back of the room and press your chest forward. A lot of to-do lists here, but if you're feeling that tension quite a bit in the back of the left leg, micro bend that left knee and still find that tilt in the pelvis as you're pressing your tailbone back and your chest forward. One more deep breath in. Let it out. Slowly begin to bend into the front knee, reach the hands all the way up, come into your short warrior one, and then let's open up warrior two, finding a little balance here as you're opening up. Roll shoulders right on top of hips. Let's begin to straighten the front leg, shift the hips towards the back, reach forward as much as you can with the left fingertips and bring that left hand on a block as you open up for your triangle pose. Roll right shoulder on top of left. And if you took that shoulder stretch with me on the opposite side, internally rotate that right arm and bring the right fingertips behind you as you roll the right shoulder towards the sky. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale to turn and twist a little bit more. Very nice. Slowly begin to bend into the front knee. Let's unwind that right arm coming all the way up. Release the hands to the hips. Feet are parallel to each other, or again, toes in, heels out for SI joint tightness or lower back tightness. We're going to come halfway down or all the way down. Release the hands wherever it feels comfortable for us, either on a prop or on the floor. Now, without bending the knees, ladies, can you shift your hips from side to side? A little inner thigh stretch here and just kind of evening out the hips a little bit. You can continue with your windmills if you feel comfortable with those, the ones that we did on the previous side, or you can come into a little bit of Skadasana, a little inner thigh and hamstring stretch. So I'm going to bend into my right knee and straighten out my left leg and flex my foot. Hands are on the floor, so I'm not engaging my core here. Inhale, and as I exhale, walk my hands or my blocks over to the opposite side. Same sensation. And then slowly, slowly, maybe two more on each side. You just shift from side to side with your own breath. But keep pressing your chest forward, right? You're lengthening through the spine the entire time, not trying to round through the upper back. I don't know if you can hear, my knees are cracking. Excellent, we're gonna come back into center. Toe heel the feet back in. Bend the knees around the spine and slowly come on up. You can shake it off, hydrate if you need to. And we're gonna come in for our last discomfort pose. I think we're gonna keep it into a wall squat today. So you're gonna wanna grab a block and find the spot on the wall. So if you're off camera, I may have to be off camera because I'm gonna go right here. I'm in the back. If you're off camera, it's absolutely okay. But we're gonna hold it for a minute. So stay with me for as long as you can. The one thing that you wanna do with the block is place it in between your thighs, and then you wanna tuck your tailbone in so that your lower back is protected by the wall. So find that spot. Walk the feet away from you so you're not, when you're bending into your knees, you are bringing your knees right on top of your ankles. Inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, begin to slide down. Again, we're holding it for a minute, the average time of a contraction. Stay strong here. Relax the shoulders. Try a technique with me, a different type of technique here. Maybe horse lips. As you inhale, prepare. Exhale, horse lips. Deep breath in. Let's try two more. And it's always good to express noise, right? To vocalize your discomfort. So maybe vibrating in the back of your vocal cords, humming, or joining me for an om. Take a deep breath in. Excellent, ladies. And then slowly, slowly come on up safely. My feet were sliding on my rug. Hopefully yours was a little bit more comfortable. Excellent. Shake it off. Find a relaxation pose of your choosing. We did 2 so far for the lower body and 2 for the upper body. Maybe you find another hip flexor stretch as you hold onto a wall or to a surface. Bend the right knee and press the foot away from your sit bones, adding that little bit of a hip flexor stretch. Not too much of a back bend, so try not to press your chest towards the wall. You're just pressing the foot away from your sit bones, lengthening through the spine. Hydrate if you need to. Remember that another good relaxation pose is a tennis ball, not rolling underneath the feet, but pressing underneath the feet. So as you're shifting the weight from side to side on the feet, releasing any trigger points, any tension points in the feet, and any fluid retention. And also a tennis ball on the upper back, and even mid back. So placing the tennis ball between yourself and the wall, finding those spots to release. As you're finishing up, take your time, but as you're finishing up, you're gonna come and sit, whether there's a couch nearby or a bed nearby, you're gonna come and sit on the edge of it. So I'm kind of tilting my pelvis forward and I'm gonna grab a pillow or a block, preferably a block or a pillow, not a book. And I'm gonna place it right in between my knees. And we're gonna do 10 of these. These are different kind of pelvic floor exercises here. I'm gonna squeeze in that block or that pillow in between my knees, hold and release. That's 1. Inhale to squeeze and release. Deep breath and squeeze and release. Inhale, squeeze and release. If you don't have somewhere to sit, you can sit on the floor and join us if you like. Yeah, we're gonna go to the floor afterwards anyways. There you go. You can squeeze in a pillow or something that you have, anything. I've lost count, ladies, but you can count 5 more. You can never go wrong with these. Squeeze, hold, and release. So you should be feeling this in your glutes, in your inner thighs, and therefore your pelvic floor muscles. So after you finish with those 5, I lost count again, but you're gonna bring that pillow or that block all the way into your inner thighs now. So it's coming closer and closer to your groin and all the way up into your inner thighs. So you're gonna do the same thing, but this time you're squeezing in through your inner thighs. So you're squeezing your knees towards each other. They're not gonna touch, obviously. And then you hold and release. So do 10 of these. And if you are having problems with really connecting of how the pelvic floor muscle exercises work with the breathing that we usually do in this class and this practice, this is another good alternative. This is a good alternative to keep them strong, not necessarily flexible though. And so that way, that's why we do that breathing, the breathing technique in other classes to kind of keep them lean and flexible and be more mindful of where they are. Obviously, I've been talking, I haven't been counting. I'm sure we did 10. Let's do just one more just to even out, and then we can release. Excellent. You can come all the way down to the floor. We're gonna find a comfortable seat on the edge of the blanket. Again, tilting your pelvis forward. We just have one more pose, a little time for one more pose, one more stretch. So as you're sitting on the edge of your blanket, allow your pelvis to tilt forward and allow the legs to open up nice and wide here. So you're flexing your feet, pointing your toes up towards the sky. And I've fallen off of my blanket, and that's exactly why the blanket is there, to fall off of it and kind of tilt forward. Just like I was talking about earlier, how we should be sitting, tilting forward. That's the same exact way here. So plant the hands in front of you and then begin to walk the hands away from you. If you don't have space that way, you can always open up sideways, yes. And begin to bend into the elbows a little bit. So you're feeling this in the inner thighs. Notice if you can let go of some tension in the inner thighs. We're basically stretching those same exact muscles that we were just squeezing during the pelvic floor exercises. So press the chest forward, lengthen through the spine, upper back, and relax the head. Yes, we're flexing our feet, but we're not tensing our feet. So relax the feet even. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Whatever tension you're feeling in your inner thighs or your hamstrings, try not to replicate that anywhere else in the body. Deep breath, inhaling in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Can you let go a little bit further? I've rested on my forearms, but maybe you rest on your palms. Maybe you just bend into your forearms or your elbows rather. But now let's take 5 deep breaths wherever you are and see if you can let go and soften that mantra that we've been practicing today or this practice or just during pregnancy overall. Softening through the back of the mouth, softening through the back of the legs, the hamstrings, the inner thighs. Letting go of any tension in the kneecaps, in the ankles, the wrists, the shoulders. Wherever else you might be feeling it and I haven't been able to mention it or discover it myself, can you soften there? Be mindful where the tension is building up in your body and let it go. And then slowly begin to press the hands into the floor. Walk the hands towards you. Let's bring the feet closer to each other. Windshield wipe from side to side. And we'll set up for our Shavasana, our final relaxation pose. So if you have a bed or a couch nearby, feel free to just lay on that in a reclining position. If you have the props with you today, you can bring the blocks at the back of your mat into an L shape, a pillow on top to recline on top of. Just make sure you come and sit all the way at the edge of that pillow so that your lower back is protected. And one pose that I want to show you is the sidelining, and this is really important because that's where we tend to sleep. You're going to imagine this is a pillow. So you're putting one pillow on the side of you, maybe a second pillow on top, maybe not, just depending on how thick your pillow is. You're going to come and lay down on your side. Bottom leg is straight, and you're hiking up the top leg so that the knee and the ankle are on the pillow and they're equal height. So therefore your hips are even. And this gives you a little bit of space to kind of shift forward a little bit, and you're not squishing baby in any way, but you're relaxing all the way down, and it gives you a little extra space in the hip joint. You're not right on the hip joint. So after a while, you don't feel that tension there. So wherever you are, ladies, release the hands to the belly or off to the side, palms facing up. Take a deep breath in. As you close your eyes, exhale it out, let it go. Surrender into the floor, completely releasing. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Begin to awaken the body, bringing movement back in. You can roll your wrists, roll your ankles, wiggle fingertips and toes. Maybe roll your head from side to side if that feels good. Stretch the hands behind you, stretching the feet away from you, straightening in 2 different directions. And then as you keep your eyes closed as lazily as possible, press the palms into the ground, coming up into a comfortable seat once again. Find a seat that works for you. Roll shoulders right on top of hips and just take a moment to reconnect, to notice what you feel different in your body. Notice your breath, notice any changes in your body, and notice any changes in your mind and the way you're thinking, the way you're breathing. And most importantly, notice any changes in your intention. It helps sometimes to keep repeating to ourselves something motivational, something strong that keeps us patient with ourselves, with our body, with everything around us. So when you're ready, take the hands to heart center, press the thumbs right into the center of your chest, lift your sternum up, lengthen through the upper back. Once again, take a deep breath in, let it out through the mouth. Thank you, ladies, so very much for sharing your practice with me tonight. Namaste.